Hi students, Mrs. Drew here. Today we are going to talk about the gerundives, or in another name, the future passive participles. First, let's look at how we make the gerundives. As with all participles, you will need a verb. We will use the regular verb for the gerundives, the one that has four principal parts. First, you need to take the present stem, which you will find in the second principal part. In first, second, and fourth conjugation, you will need to lose the RE, and in third conjugation, you're losing the ERE to get the present stem. Once you have the present stem, you have to add endus, enda, endum for first and second conjugation, and endus, enda, endum for third and fourth conjugation. This way you will get narandus, naranda, narandum, which means to be told, and gerendus, gerenda, gerendum, which means to be carried. Now we will look at how we use these participles in a sentence. Remember, participles have an adjective feature. They describe nouns in number, gender, and case. It is true with the gerundives too. If you look at the first sentence, you can pick out the gerundive by looking at the suffix enda. Therefore, the gerundive in this sentence is naranda. Naranda describes fabula in number, gender, and case. That is the adjective feature of the gerundive. Both fabula and naranda are in singular, nominative, and feminine. Now you try. Look at the second sentence. Can you pick out the gerundive? You were right if you said it was gerendum. You could tell by the endum ending on the word ger. Next, can you tell what word does gerendum describe in the sentence? You were right if you said it was bellum. Bellum and gerendum agree in number, gender, and case. Both are singular, nominative, and neuter. Besides the adjective feature, there are a couple of other things we need to notice about the gerundives. First, the person by whom the action needs to be completed is going to be in dative case. In the first sentence, it is magistri. The story has to be told by the teacher, and that is the dative case here. Can you tell who the action needs to be done by in the second sentence? You were right if you said Romanis. Romanis is dative case, and that tells us by whom the action needs to be done. Finally, look at the third sentence and notice that gerundives can stand alone and not describe any noun. In the case when gerundive stands alone, it will take the neuter form, festinandum. Notice there is no noun by it that it describes. It only has the dative case by it that tells us by whom the action needs to be done. Next, let's look at the declension of the gerundives. We have learned that all participles act like adjectives and agree with nouns in number, gender, and case. To do that, they have to decline. Can you tell which declension does the gerundive use? You were right if you said it was the first and second declension. You can tell that by looking at the endings a, that suggests first declension, us and suggests second declension. Altogether, the gerundives decline by the first and second declensions. Finally, look at how we decline the gerundive, the future passive participle, together with a noun. Remember, we said that the gerundives go by the first and second declension. Notice that it's describing a second declension neuter noun. Because of that, the gerundive is going to take also the second declension endings and in neuter form. So we will end up with very similar endings all the way through the declension. And that helps us identify the agreement in the sentence, because it's going to be always the same ending since they use the same declension, which is the second declension. And this is all you need to know about the gerundives.